Hello, friends. Let's talk a moment about our future payday.
Welcome to A Word for Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Each Wednesday, you will find Boggs Family Ministries is here with our host, Davy Boggs. Having you along with us is a wonderful addition. Now, let's enjoy together A Word for Wednesday.
Thank you, Brother Devin, and thank you for joining us on A Word for Wednesday. I'm obviously sitting outside today. I'm in beautiful Tanner Williams, Alabama, at the Tanner Williams Holiness Church, just outside of Mobile. Beautiful today. It's in the 90s, but it's very nice. I feel like I'm squinting really bad, but I'm sitting in the shade, so I'm doing the best that I can. Sitting here in front of the Boggs Mobile. We're here at the Tanner Williams Church. Their homecoming revival is this week. Homecoming is Sunday with Brother Donnie Williamson as the pastor and his congregation. I call him the Apostle Donald C. Williamson, and his wife, the Epistle. They are great people, great friends of ours. We're happy to be here. Looking forward to Homecoming Sunday, the service, the Spirit of the Lord, the fellowship, the food. It's all going to be great. So glad to have you along with us today. As I said, let's talk about our payday that's coming in the future. Brother R.G. Lee was an old Baptist preacher, wrote a lot of books, left a lot of sermons behind. He preached for the first time on a Wednesday night prayer meeting service in 1919, the sermon, Payday, Someday. And it became his famous sermon. He preached it every year for many, many, many years. It was about Ahab and how Ahab and Jezebel took Naboth's vineyard, killed Naboth, took possession of it, but he received his payday. And it was a warning that you may think you're getting by, but everyone is going to receive a payday. But I want to look at the opposite side of that for a moment. We're also going to receive our pay, our back pay, our final pay for all the good things in life. Last week, I was talking about the joy of salvation. Some folks have been saved in tent revival, and I'm going to talk a little more about that. They got saved in tent revival, and I was talking about what a joy it was. They receive joy when they're saved. The congregation is full of joy, witnessing this event, taking part in this event. The preacher overwhelmed with joy because someone received the message and got saved. And there's joy in the presence of the angels. God has joy when his creation receives his salvation plan. And I was thinking about that joy. That's part of my payment. No, it's not money, but it's worth so much more than money. Every hard mile, every hard trial, every time I thought, what in the world am I doing out here? All that's wiped away because the payment is paid. I'm paid in full. That person got saved. That's what I'm out here for. And Thursday night, after last week's Word for Wednesday, a man named Milton was saved. He's been coming at different times through the years to Tent Revival. He's a man from the community there in Richton. And he'd been there every night of Tent Revival this year. And Thursday night, when I made the altar service, Milton came up and asked to be saved and was saved. Friday, he said, I'm a brand new creature. And Saturday, when I saw him before, as we was packing the tent down, this man is 79 years old. And now he's a Christian. He was so happy. I can't tell you, friends. I cannot tell you how tired I was at the end of that tent revival. Now, and for many, many years, Kelly and I would take the tent down, with help, of course, on Friday night, drive a few hundred miles, meet with people, and set it back up on Saturday and start revival again. I'm afraid some of those days might be behind me. I was ruined Saturday and really Sunday. Sunday was a partial travel day, and it ended up being everything I did was I was just full of mistakes. None of the problems were blamable on anybody else. It was me. And just not thinking things through. Thank God I didn't hit anybody or hit anything or destroy totally destroy any equipment. It's just a rough day. And then we went to church Sunday night, had a great service, and I was able to sing and exhort. But man, was I tired Monday. And went back and sang and preached again Monday night, and tired again on Tuesday. I've been so tired. But I need to throw all that away. I need to erase all that video, because the crux of the matter is I had been paid so well when Milton got saved Thursday night. Not others getting saved during the week, and then Milton topping that off Thursday night. 79 years old, getting saved, and so happy. Man, I'll see if I can get a picture of Milton up here and just show you how happy he is. What a joy. See, that's payment for being a servant. As a minister for God, ministering one-on-one, ministering to your neighbors, cooking meals for families who are grieving, taking care of children when families are in the hospital, working in the Sunday school class with kids that don't seem to appreciate it, working on the bus ministry, being a bus captain or a bus driver, walking up and trying to get kids out of bed on Sunday morning and get them on the bus, and dealing with parents and all those things, teaching a Sunday school class, or preaching, or singing, or taking the offering, or being an usher. Everything you do for Christ, the job title is servant. That's what a minister is. A minister is one who serves. Well, my minister, he's the pastor. My minister, he does this. That's great. But his core duty is one who serves. Sometimes we're tempted to think that we're not being paid properly. We're tempted to think that we're being overlooked. That's not true, friend. Keep right on serving. You are being paid, and you are going to be paid in the end. When I worked in the factory, of course it was in Ohio, hot in the summertime. I knew it was hot. Now, my dad worked in a factory all my life, and I remember him talking about how hot it was. And I seen how dirty and hot he was when he come out of there. I knew it was not a pleasant job, but I needed a job. So I've worked in factories, and I'm very thankful. I spent 8 years in 2 different General Motors factories, and I'm thankful for every day I had a job. But I want to tell you, there's some days, lots of days, it was miserable in that place. You have furnaces and machines running, and it's always, I would say, at least 20 degrees or more warmer in that factory than it is outside in the hot summer, and there's no relief from it, and you can't get away from it. You can't go outside and sit a while unless it's break time. You just gotta work. And I have never had any of the supervisors or job leaders or anybody come up and say, "Man, I know it's hot today, Davey, but thanks for working. Here, have a cold bottle of water, or here's a towel to wipe your face." I've never had any of them thank me for working. But you know what they did? They put a paycheck in my hand every Friday, or in years later, they deposited it in my account every Wednesday night at midnight. So Thursday morning, I had my paycheck in my bank. That's what they did. They never thanked me. They never went out of their way to say, "David, you're doing a great job in this miserable heat." When a snowstorm came, they expected us to be there. If it's 3 inches, 6 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches, they expected that line was going to run. And at one time, it took about 1,500 people to run that line, and you needed to be there. And so you did your best to get there. You were going to be marked absent. You were going to pay the penalty if you were not there. Now, if it was just so bad that a certain percentage could not get there, they would cancel the work day. Everybody that made it in would be paid a certain amount of hours. But if you didn't make it in and they worked, you were going to pay the penalty for it. So we went to work. I went in, clean all the snow off the car, started up, get there, risk your life through some of that traffic, park, find a place to park, walk through that parking lot into there, get to your job, just because that was my duty. I never had a supervisor say, "Wow, Davey, I can't believe you drove 20 miles to be here. can't believe you came through the snow. I know your car doesn't have much power in the snow, or I know it doesn't have snow tires, or I know it doesn't have good heat. You came anyway. Thank you for that. They never said thank you. They put a paycheck in my hand, and that was thanks enough. That fed my family. That paid my light bill. That paid my house payment. That kept gas in my car. That gave me money to give at church. It gave me God's part. They put a paycheck in my hand. That was my thanks for serving General Motors. That last spell I worked there, we worked 10-hour shifts. Oftentimes, in the departments I worked in, it was 10 to 11 hours, 4 days a week, and an overtime day or so if you chose to do that. But 4 days a week, 10 to 11 and a half hours a day. I never remember them patting me on the back and saying, man, you did good today. I know you've never done that job before, but you really done good. No, they just gave me a paycheck. That was my thanks. Listen, don't be tempted, and don't fall to the temptation to think that you're not being fairly compensated because nobody recognizes what you're doing for God. God is faithful to remember your labor of love, and He will pay in the end. Hallelujah. I said He will pay in the end. I got paid last week. Not only do churches bless us financially for coming, they take into consideration what it takes for me to get there. I don't tell them what I need. I don't tell them I need anything. They help us. And if they don't, they don't. I got paid tremendously last week watching young people, different ones, get saved. In fact, one young lady, I was talking to her one night before church. I asked her name, and she told me, reminded me that I met her last year. And I said, thank you. And I learned how to spell her name, and I asked her how old she was. And she said, I got saved last year. She pointed behind me. I got saved right there under that tent last year. Hallelujah. Man, I remember that after she told me. I got paid again. I'd already been paid for that revival. I got paid again. That little 9-year-old girl saying, I got saved right there last year and I haven't forgotten it. What amazing pay we have. Hang on, child of God. Can I just exhort you for a moment today? Hang on. Payday is coming. It may feel like nobody notices. It may feel like there are people that are even against you in what you're trying to do. Hang on, friend. Payday is coming. You've been plunking on that guitar because you're the only guitar player they got. You've been plunking on that piano because you're the only piano player they've got. You've been teaching that Sunday school class, although you don't feel like you do a good job because you're the only one that will do it. You've been working on that bus ministry. You've been passing that offering pan because nobody else will do it, and you feel like nobody even appreciates this. Why am I doing this? Hang on. God will pay you handsomely. Heaven is going to be worth the journey when we get there. Now, we're just a servant. We're just a servant. Serve with dignity. Serve with humility. Serve with a heart of service. And God will repay. Serve now. Be the minister. Take the abuse. Give everything you got for God. And I promise you, He will repay. What did Jesus say? Thou hast been faithful over a few things. Now you will be ruler over many things. Enter in to the joy of the Lord. Man, it's going to be worth it when we get to heaven. Come on in, son. Enter into the joy of the Lord. Eternal joy. Hallelujah. Eternal joy. No more pain. No more sorrow. No more sickness. No more misunderstanding. Nothing like that. No more death. All is joy forevermore. The payday is coming. someday. God bless you, my friend. That's my word for Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.
That is our word for Wednesday. We are so glad that you've spent a few minutes with us today. If you've been touched by today's episode, please share it with your friends and family. We welcome your questions or comments below or by email. You can find the email address in the description, along with a link to mile markers, the website for Boggs Family Ministries. Also, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and we hope to see you next Wednesday.
Ciao for now.